Alright guys, this is the last part of the J&J Monday for this week. I do apologize for the previous two videos. Something happened that caused a disruption between the connection that I had with Hangout, and it just stopped. That never happened before. From what I understand, it may have been the apps that I recently have purchased. Google has a very nasty attitude when it comes to other apps that's not funded by them, even though they have approved this app. It's not even that big of a deal. It was an emotion app. It seemed to have crisscross hairs with the program, at that, as well as some other things that it was trying to do. So it caused the thing to just properly shut down. Well, thankfully, it shut down just when we was about to wrap things up. So it really didn't hurt us anything. It just stopped abruptly, and I don't want it to end just on that alone. We was talking about the last thing me and James was talking about. And the reason why James is not here because James has some obligations that he has to do, personal obligations, of course, and he needed to take care of it. We didn't realize that we was actually going that deep into the show, so that was my mistake. Normally I try to keep it under 2 hours, but we were so much into what we was talking about. Sometimes it tends to happen, but we was talking about the identical, and basically the identical failed on two things. One, actually three things. One, it was a bad movie, got bad press. Two, it was not advertised well at all. And three, and this is also a very important part, is it was on two different formats. You didn't need to go to the movie theaters to see this movie. You could just sit down and see it on demand. And unfortunately, I think that was the Achilles heel of this movie. That and the fact that if you ain't gonna advertise it right, what's the point? The identical had drawn only $390,000. This is their second week in the box, in the theaters, so you can safely say this has been a colossal failure with just drawing on the $2.5 million. Now they're not showing you how much this movie is made, and for obvious reasons, but the point being is that this is a movie that just failed big time on this. This failed big time, and it's not something. Even if wasn't a Christian film, which a lot of people say that was the reason, it's not the reason. Look, Christian movies has been around for a long time. I don't particularly care about Christian films being oversaturated in the theaters, and personally, I welcome it. If you've got a good Christian film, a good heartwarming film in general, I watch it and I will enjoy it. This is a movie I didn't see and watch because a lot of theaters that I'm around didn't even bother putting it on their screen. This is a film that failed because of bad advertisement, and the fact is that somebody thought it was a good idea to put this not only in theaters but on demand. Which brings me to the conversation I was going to get to before I went to the coming attraction films. If you're gonna put it on demand, just don't bother. Don't bother with the fact that don't put it in theaters. That's all I gotta say. Don't put it in theaters. Leave it alone. I don't think it was a smart move for them to do what they did. And to me, to me it just shows just how unprofessional sometimes Hollywood is when it comes to pushing their movies. Because again, it's a movie that doesn't entice me to the beginning with. If I had a choice to watch it on demand, I'm gonna watch it on demand. It's cheaper. It really is cheaper, and to me, I think that was a big catch for them. Just keep in mind, just in general, I just think it makes better sense. If you're gonna release it in the movie theaters first, give it a chance to get it run, and then put it on demand. Fine. If you're gonna just put it on demand and put it in theaters, it's gonna cancel each other out. It really is. Which leads me to something I also wanted to talk to James about. I probably will bring this up in the discussion forums because I think it's a very good idea, because a lot of people have voiced their anger towards what has happened with Victoria Mars, more so than the Angry Video Game Nerd movie. And for the record, I did want to see the movie. Um, I understand they had private screenings. I knew New York was going to have one. The problem is when I clicked it on, it was already sold out. These you need to get the tickets in advance. It has been a successful screen-wise. It has been a success for James Rolfe, and I'm proud of him. I think he deserves that he want that kind of success because he worked hard. Out of all the YouTube internet personalities, he have worked it hard to have his dream come true, and he's did thanks to the fans who have promoted, who have donated some of their money to this project. Now, you can have your debate on whether or not this should be the right practice to go. I'm not going to dispute that. Everyone who has voiced their opinion against it has voiced a good, honest opinion on this. And I think that even though a lot of fans say don't listen to them or anything else, you cannot help but say that, okay, this is his opinion, listen to why he's feeling that way. And for the most part, you'll see that he does make sense. But with that being said, for what James Rolfe has done, this is probably the fans film. Fans are gonna watch it. Fans are gonna enjoy it. And to me, that's I think for the most part, that alone says something. That alone says a lot. James has done a good job. It took him a long time to get this film over. This has been 3 years in the making. A lot of people wonder if they're ever going to get off the ground. But it also shows us how long it takes to probably get films in production, especially in post-production. I don't think people forget that post-production takes just as long as the film in pre-production or in production takes place. So it didn't surprise me it took this long. What I did like, though, and it's something that I think that a lot of people who want their projects to take off the ground should take a page of what James Rolfe has done, is he updated people. He didn't just disappear. He told people what was going to happen. He told people what was going to be done. And he even asked people if they want to put some extra footage in, by all means. That is a professional knowing that what he's doing with people's money and keeping people up to date. And then to me, that alone shows professionalism that those who have actually done project with Kickstarter or Indiegogo have yet to show. At least James Rolfe have kept people up to date, so people was not feel like they was ripped off. And to me, you saw the results. I don't expect this film to ever be in the major theater circuit because, again, big business speaks a lot when it comes to this. I think that's is asking for too much for the studios to do. They didn't fund it. They didn't put any money into it. So why the hell would they actually pick it up, promote it, and place it in theaters when there's nothing to be gained from this? James Rolfe is seeking in 100% profit from this film, and to me, from what I understand, he's gonna pretty much make that money back and then some. So, especially in video sales. So I consider this a huge success for James Rolfe and the girls who was involved. They should be very proud. This is the real fan-made movie that was funded by the fans. I cannot say the same for Victoria Mars, and this is something that really frustrates me, and I completely understand why fans are frustrated. The fans pour their money into this film. They donated money into this film. They did not want to make the Warner Brothers or whatever studio who had the rights did not want to do it, and they did it, and it was more than what even Warner Brothers or any of the studios expected. And how do they reward the fans? By putting it on demand and have only private screenings. Victoria Mars is a known property. Why was this not put in selected theaters? Why was this not even put in many major theaters? This film, to me, and I saw the numbers and I said, this could have probably been better if this film was heavily promoted. I did not know Victoria Mars was actually released. I was actually waiting for this film. I thought it was going to be a holiday film. And I looked, I just said, just for the thought of it, I looked it up because I heard about the video game nerds success and everything else. I said, let me see what's going on with the status of Victoria Mars. And it turns out it was already out. Wow, very quietly, very soon. And I actually was looking forward for this because, again, this was something that the fans poured their hard-earned money. Even though if people disagree with it, it was still something that says something about how much the fans hold dear. Now, maybe they didn't think it was going to be a big, big show for this film. Maybe, maybe not. But the thing is, they never really gave it much of a chance. And to me, I felt they basically just stuck it to the people who donated a lot of money just to sit this film done. I was very disappointed that they didn't have that much faith in this film. And I've seen the poster; it looks cool. And from the one I've been seeing, the ratings of this stuff of Victoria Mars was very, very good. They actually thought the performances was top notch. And you have Jamie Lee Curtis in here. You have a very good all-star cast in here, and they treated this film like, we put it on demand. We give it a few screenings for the fans to see it, and that's it. I mean, come on, guys, you gotta do better than that. I mean, you gotta do better than that, especially for a property that you know has a fan base and is actually popular by the TV show. I think you could have done a lot more better than that. But it's also goes to show one thing, and I wanted to actually really have this debate with James about this. It shows one thing about how studios, how much power they have with these films, and how just being a fanboy or a fangirl and the fans supporting these movies alone or any kind of property alone simply isn't good enough. Reality check here, and this just goes back to Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. A lot of people was very surprised, very shocked that it bombed in the box office. I was not, because again, the fanboys and fangirls, and I'm not saying that's a negative, was the only one that was seeing this film. That's great, but you know what? It's still a small fraction to the overall masses who's going to spend their 9, 10, 11, even 13, 14, $15 to see this film. You need to get them on board. And this is the thing that I think that even that fanboys need to realize. If the rest of the audience is not down with it, the chance of that film being a success is slim. Very, very slim. I think this is one of the perfect examples of that between Victoria Mars. I think Victoria Mars, they felt that, hey, the fans going to watch this film, but what about those outside of that? Is there really truly is the market? And I think the fans need to understand that, hey, it's great that you root for this film, but you got to hope that if you want to see more of this, you got to hope that others, especially word of mouth, travels fast and get things done. And you got to hope that the studios see it that way. Sorry about the lighting, but that they see it the way you guys see, where I say, oh yeah, fans, other people's gonna like this. Let's put it out there. So that's my own thing about this. Like I said, fanboys alone when it comes to films like that, especially when it has a huge cult following, sometimes it's just simply enough. And I hope maybe one day it will change. Hopefully it will. But right now, for now, I'm actually disappointed that Victoria Mars did not make the theater cut the way it's supposed to. But it's not going to stop me from reviewing it as a DVD. I will review it. I am looking to review it because it is something I actually was looking forward to seeing, along with other films that I've saw that I have yet to talk about on YouTube. But that time will come eventually. So let me end this video here with some of the coming attractions. I'll give you my hit or miss here. Here are the films that's going to be released on September 19, 2014. We'll start here with Maze Runner. This is the film that a lot of people have talked about, at least with me. I don't have much of a description on this film, other than the fact that this film is a sci-fi. It's something that many people was buzzing about it. And I do feel this film's going to have a strong top 5 list. Whether or not it be in first place or not, I will say this: it probably will. Due to the fact is that No Good Deed, which was #1 this week, as we mentioned earlier, was made #1 despite having poor reception from the critics, and it does have the feeling now when I look at it of a film that's gonna just say hello and goodbye very, very quickly, but still made its money. And this is one of the films that actually may actually take it down. Another film that's coming out. This is the film that I've seen on subways, seen posters of it. This is Where I Leave You. This is a film that's also coming out. It has a very good on-star cast. It looks like a mix of comedy and drama. It definitely looks like a film that that will have somewhat of a good somewhat of a good feel to it. I don't consider this a big hit, but I do believe it's going to be somewhat of a hit, nonetheless. I think Maze Runner will outperform them overall in the film. Now, according to the article, actually, it does have some stuff here. According to the article, when the first girl arrives in the Glad, she brings a message that she will be the last one to ever arrive in Glad, and as the end is near, which makes no sense to me. I hope that's not what I think it is. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. I'm sorry. This is from Maze Runner, so they do have a description here. I'll read the Maze Runners first. The story follows a boy named Thomas who wakes up in a strange place called Glad, with no memory aside from his first name. The Glad is an enclosed structure populated by other boys and is surrounded by a tall stone wall that protects them from monsters called grievers, I believe that's the name of it, that lives in a maze which surrounded the wall around Glad. Alright, the article's it's going to read it from there, but you pretty much get the idea, because it says here, when a girl arrives in Glad, she brings a message that she will be the last one to ever arrive in Glad as the end is near. So, some kind of post-apocalyptic show for that one. This is Where I Leave You says, the info says, when their father passed away, 4 grown siblings, bruises and banged up by their respected adult lives, are forced to return to their childhood homes and live under the same roof together for a week, along with their oversharing mother, and in an assumption of spouse X and might have been confronting their history and their frail state, the relationship among the people who known and loved them best. They are ultimately reconnecting in an hysterical and emotional, affecting ways aim at chaos, humor, heartaches, and redemption that only family can provide. So that's what we got for that one right there. Again, if I look at this poster, picture on, it looks like a typical adult comedy. Just how strong it is, I do not know. I am gonna say it could be a hit. I don't see this film failing too much unless the other films I'm going to be talking about actually blow it on the wall. I do believe one will. Not this one, The Guess. And in case you want to know what The Guess is, I have no idea. The information says here, a soldier introduced himself to the Peterson family, claiming to be a friend of a son who died in action. After the young man is welcomed to their home, a series of deaths seem to be connected to his presence. And that's what we got from that. I don't see much. It's almost like a been there, done that kind of scenario. I see it as a miss, but not by much. It all really depends on the people's moods this week. This one movie I am hyped to see because it's typical badass, lame Nielsen type movie that you pretty much have to see, regardless if it's good or not. I Walk Among the Tombstones. Now, this is the film that follows an ex-NYPD cop and recovering alcoholic hunted by regret. Matt Stoner, who's played by who's played by Liam Nielsen, has a lot to make up for when a series of kidnapping targeting the wives of drug dealers escalated into a grisly murder. Lieutenant reluctantly agreed to help the heroin traffickers and his brother hunt the two men down and bring them to bloody justice. The unlicensed pirate detective Matt gets help from his former colleague, a homeless 17-year-old autist, JT, operating just outside the law, and track down the monster responsible. Shutter stops just short of becoming one himself. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Another film that's coming out this this week is Tux, the Tusk. This film will be out, and the information of this is very, very, very small. It says here, when his best friend, a podcast co-host, goes missing in the Black Woods of Canada, a young guy joins forces with his friend, with his friend's girlfriend, and search for him. That's it. I don't know if this is a limited release or not. They didn't say, but this is something. If you look at the poster, I will leave a link to this because it's actually interesting just for the poster alone. It's almost a blatant ripoff of The Night Before Christmas. That's how blatant it is. It's just darker. Nothing really much in the background except that moon and that cliff, and all you do is put the main star from Night Before Christmas, and you got the that poster from there. There are a couple more films that's coming out. Pretty sure it's a limited release, so I'll just go right through them. The Skeleton Twin is going to come out, where I mentioned this briefly in one of the pilot episodes. Reclaim is another film that's going to be out this week. This is pretty much will be probably a limited release as well. We have Zero Theorem. The Zero Theorem is also going to come out this week. And you have Pride also coming out this week. There's a comedy also called Hector's Rise. This is the film that I'm looking forward to it. I think the guy who's playing the comedian here is a good actor. Love his work. Simon Pegg. I believe is Hector. And I think Hector Pursuit of Happiness, I think that's what they call it. Hector is Search for Happiness, yeah. So this is something they actually been promoting a lot, but it's still going to be in limited releases. I don't know why Simon Pegg films don't get a big release in the United States as much as they should. There's always seem to be limited releases or selected theaters. They should give more because he is a very known actor here in the U.S. And to me, it doesn't make no sense to have him not be part of be part of a more mainstream theaters, at least especially from this. Finally, we have I believe they call it the Scrappers. That's the film that's also coming out. There's a lot of movies coming out, but a lot of them are limited releases. And Front Bliss also coming out this week. Space Station 76. That's unlimited. I know that because I actually looked it up in the independent file. And a film I can't pronounce, Animeskia. That's also coming out this week. Worst Friends as well. And Iceman also will round it up. Most of these are foreign films, of course. Most of them will be out this week. So there's a lot of films that's coming out this week. A lot of films, but a lot of them mostly are artsy films / limited release films. So again, I will leave a link so you guys can look at them. At least I can do so you can, because there's a whole lot of other films I haven't touched on yet. But these are the films that's going to be coming out. These are all coming out this week in theaters. So I guarantee you a great portion of these films will not, I repeat again, will not even make the top 20. So I wouldn't go too crazy, but there are films. I do try to promote as many of the independent films as much as possible because they're important to promote. And because some of these independent films may actually turn to be better than the films that come out right now. God knows, any of these films could be no worse than the films that are the identical and other films that I've seen in the past be right now. So support them. I mean, go out there, look for the nearest arts film, and who knows, you may not be disappointed. So with that being said, I do want to apologize for this breaking up of the Monday segment of J&J Monday. Again, this was not my intention to break this up. I normally want to keep it as one show, pretty much an hour to 2 hours long, no more than that. But actually, bringing it up wasn't necessarily a bad thing because, like I said, the first video was an hour 43 minutes. The second video was 45 minutes. This is already going on 25 minutes. So maybe that was actually not a bad thing. And largely because the only reason why I'm doing this because I did want to get the last part out. I'm not gonna do any major prediction on the box office. I wait till next week when we do the final pilot testing. This is why we do testing for that reason. Hopefully that whatever happened, which I still don't know what happened, won't happen again. I'm trying to figure out whether or not it was a bad reception on my part or it was just some kind of link that didn't link up. I'll figure it out before the week is over. But I do want to apologize again for that. But I also want to thank James Daniel Walsh for coming on. He was great. Look up if you guys want. I'll leave a link. Matter of fact, I am going to leave a link to his work. It's definitely a guy who is passionate about what's going on in our world today, as well as a movie buff himself. So he's pretty much a little bit of everything, and definitely worth your time and effort in terms of reading his articles. You can read a lot of other people's articles at maticexpression.com. That's why I will be. I'm not going to do any shameful promotions because frankly my partner's not here to do one, but I will leave a link to maticexpression.com so you guys can check it out, and if you want to become a member, by all means, come join the fun. We can always use someone with the knowledge and ability to share the experience as well as their work on the site. So like I said before, leave a link to James Daniel Walsh his page so you guys can check out his wonderful work. And if you guys have any comments or feedback on today's show, please by all means leave it in the comment section. Love to hear your opinion on that. We have one more polished show. Hopefully my partner Josh Akin will be back at our regular scheduled time, but if not, the show will go on, will be posted. And until next week, this is J77 saying take care, be safe, and I'll talk to you soon.